Alrighty, everyone. Welcome to I Screened, You Screen for Movies. For the date that you're listening this episode of Barbie on Friday, July 28th. And I'm actually recording this on Sunday, July 23rd, the day I record my Oppenheimer episode. But if you did listen to my Oppenheimer episode, go check it out. If you haven't, by the way, you're listening to the Barbie review on Friday, July 28th, like I said. And F it, we're doing it live. I'm Danny, and I have a welcoming two gentlemen guests that are also the fans of my show that they've been listening to of my show. And I could not say a word to have these guys on my show. They are two podcast duos from the Bitches with Beards podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, these gentlemen are Max and Daniel. If I got your names right, but yes.
Yes.
Introduce yourself, gentlemen, and tell the listeners about yourself as well.
Age before beauty. That's me.
Yeah, that is you.
I'll go first then. I'm Max, so you can always tell it's me because of the accent. And I'm on the co-host of Bitches with Beards, and this is
Daniel, also co-host with Bitches with Beards, and the accent only comes out with me if I've had bourbon. So
Yep.
we're not there yet.
And you can find us on all podcasting platforms, but we are a weekly discussion. We basically are professional homosexuals, and we rip apart culture.
Yep.
Build it back up again, tear it down slightly, and literally Barbie was culture for the last 2 months. So we are really thankful that Danny has basically had a lapse in judgment and allowed us on this podcast because we are going to talk about a lot.
Pleasure.
So yeah.
It's a pleasure, gentlemen. So, guys, the Barbenheimer effect has happened this weekend. This is one of the biggest box office movie-going histories since pre-COVID times. And both Barbie and Oppenheimer came out the same week as July 21st. And you guys did see both these movies in one day, correct?
Yes.
On July 21st?
We only had an hour between the two. So we did 12:30 Oppenheimer and 4:40 Barbie.
Had a very quick lunch.
Very quick lunch. It was intense. It was good. Like we obviously, I know you've reviewed Oppenheimer. We loved Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Like it was one of the best made films I've ever seen. So Nolan's at the peak of his career. I think it makes up for Tenet. If anyone's seen Tenet.
I was talking shit on Tenet. I did not love that movie. Oppenheimer makes up great for what he put out this film. So honestly, I enjoyed Oppenheimer way more than Tenet, and didn't seem to be confusing. So
ironically, Tenet's about going backwards in time. I wish we could go backwards in time and remake Tenet as a good film. But no, Oppenheimer was amazing.
Oh yeah,
but Barbie was where our hearts lay.
Oh,
and for myself, I did see both these movies, not in one day, but I'd seen them like the day after. So I saw Oppenheimer Friday morning, and I saw Barbie Saturday nights. So that checks both my box, and now we're talking Barbie. So before we get to further topics, what do you guys think quickly about your thoughts with Barbie, directed by the one and only Greta Gerwig?
It was stunning.
Yes. Visually there, message was there, solid.
It was really quiet. It was everything it said it would deliver, and it went further than I thought it would deliver. I think that, I can't. So how far can we go spoilers?
Yeah.
I'd say nothing much to spoil, but I think we could just talk about a lot of the great buzz for this movie it got, performance-wise and everything. But yeah, for me, I thought this was one of the biggest surprises this year, next to Dungeons and Dragons, which is actually one of my top films this year. I love that film, actually. Oh, so good, so good. So Barbie marks that next. Even as a comedy, real quick, I don't watch comedies. I'm not a comedy guy. I only watch Jackass. And to people that listen to my show for a long time, for a bit since last season, I be grown to Jackass, and I'd said I will only care about comedies for Jackass only. But when Barbie came around with this first teaser dropped, when December came, I was like, wow, I think I'm going to see that because why not? So I completely was blown away seeing Barbie in every sense of way. And yes, this is directed by Greta Gerwig, who's known for indie films, Lady Bird, and I forgot what other movies she did
Little
also.
Women.
Oh, yeah, Little Women. Thank you. Yeah, so both these movies were great. That's what I heard. I didn't see them, but going to Greta Gerwig, one of the most talented filmmakers. And her and Christopher Nolan shared both cinemas in 1 week again, which is crazy that anyone can see both these movies in perfection by the Barbenheimer marketing fact, which most females went to see out this movie. And for me, of course, I went to see it with my aunt, and I was still blowing her an eye. So it was a pleasant comedy that I actually enjoyed, and it's actually my favorite film this year.
You know that Greta Gerwig bought and Margot Robbie have tickets for Oppenheimer. Forget they actually went to see Oppenheimer yesterday.
Yes. So they did that to support these movies with Mission Impossible as well. They did that back to back. Yeah, that's the way to promote these movies.
And Tom Cruise Barbenheimed apparently.
Oh,
yeah, he was more excited to see Oppenheimer, but he was at
Oh yeah,
but no,
totally.
Greta Gerwig is the control she has of a storyline. I'm sorry,
it was tight.
Tonally, it's such a crazy film. Barbie, you can't underappreciate her as as a director.
You can't underappreciate her because she's done well said with this movie. I don't know if she probably was a Barbie fan, and then she decided to write this movie and directed this herself with like a partner of hers, Noah Baumbach, I believe that's his name, his name, that helped with the writing. But Greta Gerwig just wowed us so hard with this movie. I can't say anything what to say beyond the world of Barbie Land and Barbie herself and Ken's.
But it was
all the Kens
because Margot Robbie, I think, was very much like the cheerleader to keep it going. But apparently, like she was always like she kind of went in with Mattel, and there was a lot of like fights with Mattel about tonally what she could do and is it going against the brand. But it celebrated the brand, but it did own itself that the brand is problematic in places. But I mean, we kind of sat there and we laughed, and there was bits that there was a couple of lines which I would never spoil because they really caught us off guard.
They were hilarious.
And you sat there and just went, and I think the whole audience just went nuts over certain bits. But it was diverse, and we said that the trans actress playing one of the Barbies, and it was not an issue. There was just a trans actress playing a Barbie. Right. There was a plus size.
Oh, there were transgenders in this movie, is what I heard, right?
Yeah, Dr. Barbie was played by Harry Neff, who I've adored since her.
I didn't know that. I thought it was like a fluke all of a sudden. Oh
no, and there was differently abled individuals in there. It was
funny.
So well done. The Kens were idiots the whole way through it,
but they're Kens. And there were tears.
We cried at the end. We sat there crying at the end.
Seriously, yeah, I get you guys. But wow, there were transgenders in this movie. I thought it was not, but I have to look it up further because I thought they would have banned this movie for that whatever reason. People are picking whatever states
they're trying to. Yeah, I think someone has picked up on the fact Harry Neff plays a character, and Harry Neff is one of the greatest comedy actresses of. She's in Just Like That, the Sex and the City spin-off, and she played a rabbi in the last season and owned this whole scene that she was in about different people. And I'm like,
okay.
So what did I asked Danny, what did you like about this film? Because
it's interesting. I was gonna say it's pretty good. It's pretty awesome. It's a pretty dazzling comedy I actually ever enjoyed for an IP that I wasn't grown up into, but a lot of the women and females out there grown up with Barbie all their lives probably were stoked to seeing this. And yeah, some of the guys were there too, believe it or not. Families were there, I believe, too.
Yeah.
Not much families, but some families went out to see this movie, which is actually pretty good. So the movie itself was amazing.
Yeah, I wouldn't say this is family.
No, I'd say it's definitely like older.
Yeah.
Even said down to like there's references in there, especially to like I have no vagina, sort of thing. And you're like,
yeah, that's a funny line. Oh my, those were the funniest lines. Wow.
There was stuff like that, and I was like, you can't. I mean, I love the fact they literally sat back and said, well, Barbie is an imaginary world, and in it, obviously, it's going to be amazing, and it's going to be girl powered and perfect. And then they're like, that's what the real world must look like, and you're like,
yeah, the film has like great messages like that. So I mean, that the theme of the message was well delivered. I want to talk about the cast real quick, guys. So let's get to it. Margot Robbie. We got to start over. No one's perfect, but she's the perfect Barbie.
She is
great. She is the one and only.
Barbie. As two men that do not have any interest in women, that woman is stunning. I mean, literally. And you
Dreamcast.
We were talking earlier, weren't we? Because we were saying we recorded our podcast before this, and that let us filter a bit. But she's so beautiful, but so approachable. Like she's really, there's something about her. Like you, Jeremy, when she winks and smiles, I'm like, and then she does scenes of real vulnerability. And there was that one scene of the older lady, and I just was like, literally watching her cry, going, "This is she's amazing."
Yeah.
You couldn't do it with anyone else.
Yeah.
The film centered, I think a little bit of an Oscar buzz. I don't know. I'm high hopes.
I think the Oscar buzz could have for costume design, because those costumes and everything, which we'll get to that for a sec, were wonderful. The production value looks crazy good with the whole Barbie Land setting. It's so awesome. That's actually my favorite part of looking this film is how Greta Gerwig envisioned this whole idea. It's very great. I couldn't say more or less.
I want to know though how many when they built the Barbie Land, because the Barbie houses all have the slides, and they said we're gonna have a 1 day or 2 hours, and everyone's just gonna get to go down the slide because there's no way that any of that crew were like, can we please go down the slide now? And I'm like, that looked like a fun. It was a long slide.
Oh yeah,
Ken went down it for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Ken, let's talk about Ryan Gosling real quick. What a show he put up. And not to spoil too much, we're not going to spoil too much anything in this episode, but
there was twists and turns. There was twists and turns with that character.
Yeah, totally. And
I'll never look at a horse again the same.
A lot of people are suggesting him. Well, it looks like he's going to be also one of the best supporting actors to be nominated. I'm saying, which he'll go against Robert Downey Jr. for his role in Oppenheimer.
Yeah, we have said that, and also I know we're talking about Barbie, but we have both agreed that Emily Blunt, best supporting actress for Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you guys saw. Oh, yeah, I'm surprised.
Because of the end speech. The end speech. When
I was talking about Ryan Gosling for a second, how he'll have to go against Robert Downey Jr. for
best
supporting actor.
He wouldn't win it, but I think he did a good. And also, Ryan Gosling's in his 40s. His body's starting to look like it's straying against the look, but he was so good as Ken.
He was
great,
and also
he's got the shape and form. He completely nailed it.
I also just like the fact that he had to take a beat every time he was waiting for Barbie to speak because he needed someone to speak for him, and it could have come off as a stilted performance, and it wasn't. You could literally see him. He somehow, because I think he's quite a clever guy, but you could see the cogs were between every sentence because he had no idea what to say while Barbie wasn't talking, and I'm like, he was so good as it, and
he encapsulated the character perfectly.
Yeah, I loved him.
Yeah, totally. He did a great job. I'm going to talk about real quick the other variants of Barbies and Ken. So I want to talk a little quick on Simu Liu, which actually I was excited to see him in this movie. Great Canadian dude, the man of Shang-Chi himself. Oh my God, he was great as Ken. I liked him.
He's good comedy.
Man.
He's a good comedy actor.
But he has a presence. He had a presence every time he was on film. And I was just like, yes.
I like the fact that he kind of knew that Ryan Ken was just so tripped up by him.
Yeah.
And he just seemed so panicked the whole time. I love that.
Yeah.
Just real quick, the other Kens were funny. The other Barbies were funny and good. I mean, I can't think anyone who's notable for Barbie, but Margot Robbie's the one. Issa Rae was President Barbie.
And she had two really great lines at the end, which you won't can't spoil.
Yeah.
But she delivered. She looked like she was told, "You're going to come in and play President Barbie for 2 weeks," and she's like, "I will make that 2 weeks my 2 weeks."
Yeah, she did.
I love it.
Yeah, she's great. Oh man. So also, what do you guys? I think that's much of the. Oh, Will Ferrell. Almost forgot about him.
Will Ferrell.
I was surprised. Will Ferrell was in this. Yeah.
The thing that I wonder if I like Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
He played Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
But I do think that he clearly. I mean, there was that one bit, and apology to the spoiler, where they get into the elevator. He goes, "I want to press the button," and he had all those guys behind him the whole time, and each of them must have been told he's going to do random shit, act with it, because I'm so sure that he never told anyone that he was going to go, "I want to press the button." And it's him and Kate McKinnon, obviously ex-SNL people. Kate McKinnon as Crazy Barbie was my favorite.
Or Weird Barbie.
Weird Barbie.
Weird Barbie, yeah.
I still think she could do
Weird
splits.
Barbie.
Oh, yeah.
There's one person I want to touch. America Ferrera, I think that's her name. I said their name. America Ferrera. Yeah. I'm surprised what a stunning performance she also put out to as a support. I thought she was great.
That monologue that she did in the middle of the film, I loved it. Iconic.
So I wouldn't say I'm surprised with her because I have adored her since Ugly Betty. Which
as most of us have.
Yeah. I mean, I loved Ugly Betty so much. I wouldn't watch the final 5 episodes for 2 months to extend it out. I was so upset.
Yeah.
Now, she is a really good comedy foil. She's a very good comedian, but she's very good at being the straight person. And the art with her, she has this hurt look she does.
Oh.
That she did in Superstar a lot as well.
She also did in Sisterhood of Traveling Pants.
I've never seen it,
Oh, yeah. She's got the hurt look.
No, she was really good. And I kind of guessed at one point how far she would carry it, but she really does have a way of just delivering a line. She really can land that plane, and I love her. And there was a couple of lines. Dad? Yes. Was my favorite line. And I just, yes.
Where'd you like to drive?
Real quick, I thought with her in the movie with the story, I thought, first of all, I thought the story was going to fall flat in my expectations. But with this character, with America Ferrera's character in this part, I mean, I thought she nailed not only herself, but the story and all makes sense to
I agree.
The whole idea of this movie between the real world and the Barbie land. I mean, I thought it was touching.
There was a real, I think there was that point of because if you see the trailer, you've got Barbie in Barbie Land, and Barbie goes to the real world, and it's going to be, Barbie in the real world. And it's very, as I said yesterday, very Brady Bunch movie.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden and you kind of, and so if you've seen a trailer, you've seen half the movie.
Right.
And it's like, well, where does it go next? And she suddenly created this huge, and she took the middle of the movie. I mean, obviously there's a very good conclusion with Barbie, but she became the middle of the movie. And all of a sudden I'm like, if a lesser actress, it would have completely gone. It would have fallen flat.
But it worked with the premise of the film.
It worked with the premise of the film, but this film relied on Greta Gerwig hiring the right actresses for the right roles.
Oh, yeah.
I was so pleased with that. She really, we said earlier, she proved that she can handle a franchise now. Her career's made. You can do, it's one thing doing indie films, but when you handle a franchise and you deliver with 150 million, she's fine now. Her career is...
And they're iconic of a franchise.
Yeah. Her top of her game just got better and better, and she's already getting her name out through these movies. And Barbie's one of them that is
her next film's announced.
Which one?
She's doing Narnia for Netflix.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Netflix. Yeah. Why doing Netflix movies if she's going to do all these big screen movies, including Narnia, that's going to be streamo? I just don't get it.
Yeah, well, that's when you bring us back, and we'll discuss that.
That's a topic for another day.
We'll come.
Another topic I don't want to talk about either. So I think that's.
It was great. I thought, I don't know, it just was so. I can't believe how well done it was.
Yeah.
She really landed the plane on this film.
The movie itself also was very charming, funniest, and had heartful moments throughout this film that I even admired. Great script, great performance. And man, it has great touching moments like that. I haven't been liking this comedy so much that I think this is actually one of my favorite comedies anywhere near as my favorite films of this year. I mean, it blew me away in every aspect. We all talk about Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, everyone involved, Greta Gerwig, everything in this envisioned of Barbie world and all that from Greta Gerwig was great. This is a true form of cinema of comedy. This is not to mention Barbie's an IP that's been around for years, and then having its own live action movie just got whole bigger. And the Barbie Eimer effect really came to effect. And actually, just to report numbers real quick, Barbie has made over 155, which led to be the biggest opening weekend for a female-led director. And of this year's highest opening weekend, it beat the Mario movie by a margin of 155 from Barbie and 146 from Mario, which again, it's wow. By the time those pre-sales and everything happen, it's it keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it's it's going to overproject way more.
We booked 6 weeks in advance, which was rare for me.
But normally he's like, we got.
I just booked right around the release where there's actually new spots available for like new showtimes. They appear on my locals, so they usually update them around Tuesdays and all, or something.
No, I would say the film, it was joyous, it was celebratory, but it was critical without being mean-spirited, and that's a really tight rope to walk.
Yes.
And she did it. Like, it could have got quite nasty. And I don't know. I felt good coming out of it.
Right, but it also poked fun at the jokes of Barbie as well.
Yeah,
it was aware that the criticism.
But it didn't feel cruel.
No.
Yeah, and I think that's something she did. It's all good being a director and doing your own thing, but when you handle someone else's property, that's where you prove yourself. Mm-hmm. So anyone who's listening, go and see it. If you're a little bit like, is it going to be like feminist? Is it going to be anti-man? A little bit, yeah. But enjoy. Have fun.
Grow your mind.
Wear
pink.
They're not wrong. They're not wrong. Go wear pink. Go watch Barbie. Actually, I had a pink shirt I was going to wear, but it had a little stain. I was like,
well, yeah, because Barbie's got to be perfect. So
yeah, it would have been perfect. I had an outfit planned out too, so I just wear regular clothes for whatever reason. I mean, I still enjoyed it regardless. I mean, not the guys I know wore mini pink, so I mean, it's all right, I guess.
Can I ask what your aunt thought?
My aunt?
Yeah, you went with your aunt. Did she?
Yeah, my aunt. Yes. Yeah, she loved it. She loved it, but she loved Oppenheimer way more for sure because she liked dramas and all. I can't blame her though. I mean, if she's listening to the show, her and I discussed about that before I even got in there. So technically, yeah.
I'm curious. I'm curious. My sister-in-law's taking my nieces, so I'm kind of curious about that. We shall see. That'll be with next week's review.
Yeah, for us.
All right. Well, is there anything else we should discuss on this film? Like any things you guys like, or anything bad, or something like? Because I don't think I have much hate to this movie. I think everything was well blended.
I would say
that's
the costumes were iconic.
The costumes were iconic. The one thing that we were giggling about, I don't know if I loved, was the fact that the song down to what Barbie sings as she's leaving Barbie Land was by the Indigo Girls, which is a lesbian rock duo, and I'm like, they just really, it was
let me say this real quick. You said the song in the movie, like in the beginning or something?
No, when she's leaving Barbie Land and she's singing in her car.
Okay.
That's the Indigo Girls, and they're like they're famously lesbian, and you got Barbie singing along to lesbian folk music, and I'm like,
that was a good scene.
So layered. And also the use of differently able people, perfection.
Yes.
The perfection.
Oh yeah, totally. It was great. Yeah,
we could talk forever. We won't, but we could talk forever.
Yeah. I don't want to.
Please go see it.
Yeah, go see Barbie, listeners. If you haven't seen it, it's gonna blow you away. It has an A cinema score, which clearly tells you it's a great freaking movie.
Yes,
I even thought it'd be an A+ with Oppenheimer, but both the movies got the same score, so technically it's a win-win for cinema. Barbie, Oppenheimer, no rules.
They're up 33% this week in terms of cinema sales. 20,000 people saw Barbenheimer. That's why I love you, Danny. I'm glad you're doing a film podcast. I love film. I'm so glad people are finally getting back to cinema. We need it. Please go see it. Please support cinema right now because it's going to have a real hard time in 6 months. There's not going to be a lot of films coming out. So can we all go now? So this is me being on my stand.
I was going to talk about the strike real quick since you did brought it up because it seems like what you're saying. Oh my God. So I did touch base on that on my Oppenheimer episode, and I want to touch base with you guys. The strike's been going on with the actors and writers being on strike, and they're not being paid fairly. And the fact that AI technology is like being used to script and everything, and whatever goes on, it's very terrible. And Dune might get pushed, which I'm heartbroken.
I'm following you. I missed Dune at the cinema, and I watched it. And I loved it, and then my husband watched it and loved it. I'm following you, Danny. I've been following you for a while, and also just the way that your poor little broken heart about Dune is just. I'm rooting for you on this one. But no, but we just got to support our cinemas. Just go see it, find a way, and Barbie was amazing because it was a group experience. But Oppenheimer at the cinema and the way the seats shook, if the sound, if cinema dies, film dies. So can we please just support, and then in a couple of months we're gonna have some dark times, then we're gonna have some good times. This is my little speech.
Well, let's pray that the whole strike is going to be ending in a month. Hopefully, let's just say. I hope mid-August. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. You see my fingers right there to the YouTube viewers.
Fingers crossed.
Keep your fingers crossed. Dude doesn't get pushed, or because there's not been promotion of these movies next month. Like, hell, actors are not even promoting because of the strike going on, and some of the filming's going on has been stopped. So
the only thing is, it works for our podcast because we're not actors, so we can review. So there'll be less film review podcasts of actors. So I don't know, but at the same time, hey, indie podcasters, let's all come together.
Yeah,
just come back. I'm really glad you're doing this podcast as well, Danny. It's like, and your Mission Impossible review was really great because that was such a really good film as well.
Oh yeah, totally. All right, well, I think that's all for the Barbie review. It's a wonderful movie, one of my pleasant films. That and Oppenheimer are my favorites this year for sure. Can't complain. It is a true go back to the movie cinema experience. Barbenheimer was a phenomenon. And speaking of that, I just was on Twitter before we got air that there's a thing going on that will follow Oppenheimer. So on September 29th, just to put this real quick, it'll be on Audiogram, of course, if you're listening to this. There's 2 movies coming out. One's horror, and the other's a kids movie. And this is called Saw X, Paw Patrol, the Mighty Movie. And combining those movies, they are calling it Saw Patrol.
I respect them for the name, but I will see neither.
Yes,
I'm not seeing neither of them at least. I'm not a Saw guy, and I'm too old to watch Paw Patrol. But I think what these movies are going to do, they'll play super even.
Yes,
Saw,
I don't think
the horror hounds for the Saw franchise, the kids for Paw Patrol. I think it's going to be just well spent for the movies, hopefully.
So
if the marketing keeps going.
For us, I think me and you are very equal in that we know everything that's going on in the film. We got a trailer during Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
And Daniel heard me scream for the first time. The new Exorcist movie and Ellen Burstyn's cameo in it, and I screamed in the cinema.
And I was
going to say that was the freakiest trailer I watched. Oh my god! But
I forgot they were bringing her back, and they're like, "There's someone that can help you." I went, Ellen Burstyn, and then my husband's like, "Who the fuck are you talking about?" No, and the one in the hand, the A24 one in the hand. I'm excited about that one.
Are you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, Danny, charming as always.
Thanks you guys for hopping on with me for this review. It's a wonderful pleasure experience. So where can they find you, find your show and all before we get off the air?
So we are Bitches with Beards. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, Good Pods. Good Pods is a really great platform I'm really loving. And we are on Stitch is dead.
Oh, Stitch is dead.
Stitch is dead. No, Stitcher actually got cancelled. And I'm going to get us up quickly because I can never remember. We are Bearded Bitch Pod on Twitter. If you come say hi, I will say hi back.
He will.
I'll leave those all in the show notes for the listeners and what viewers to check you guys out. So that would really be great.
Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this episode and if you're liking the show, follow and subscribe to my show. I screen, you screen for movies, whatever you're listening on. I'm on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, smash that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and leave a comment. Tell us your thoughts on Barbie and the whole Barbenheimer. What did you see first? Which one you saw, anyways? I mean, mix. Can't speak, but I'm trying to finish this up here. But
leave me a 5-star pink.
Yeah, leave me a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It would really help. That will have new listeners find my show as well. My social media links are in the show notes on Twitter, ISUS4MPod. My TikTok, I screen, you screen for movies. They'll both be in the show notes. And my email is open to reach me out at deskamlaji@gmail.com and share us your thoughts on the Oppenheimer Barbie experience, a Barbenheimer experience. I mean, and just share whatever you like to say, or reach me out if whatever you like. And it's going to be it. I got nothing else to prove what to say except until next time, I'll be screaming you all at I Screen, You Scream for movies.
And cheers.
Cheers.